When you need advice, come to Ben and Kelly. It's Group Therapy on 99.7 DJX.
Okay, so we've got this message, and this is kind of a big subject to discuss when you are thinking about, having a future with someone. She said, do you think it's possible that two people who feel differently about having kids can stay together?
Oof.
What I mean is that if one is willing to sacrifice the idea of having kids in order to stay with someone who doesn't want kids, is there ever a situation where that could actually work? Or would it just lead to inevitable resentment later down the line? For context, I'm a woman in a straight relationship, and I'm the one who doesn't want kids. My boyfriend has talked about wanting to be a parent multiple times, but he seems to backpedal that whenever I try to acknowledge our difference here. I want to be able to take him at his word that it's a sacrifice he's willing to make, but I don't want to hold him back from experiencing something so important in life I know that he really, really wants. So I'm not sure where to go from here.
Well, I mean, for one, that's one of those conversations that I feel like you got to have both people on board.
Yes.
There are some pillars of a relationship that, that's going to help build your foundation. And if it's a sturdy foundation, you're going to agree with your partner on those certain things. And I think kids are one of them.
Yeah. Now, Jennifer is saying no one gets everything they want in life. It seems like he's told you several times that he's willing not to have kids. And so you just have to take it at face value. I don't know about that. I think right now he's probably trying to tell her what she wants to hear because he's so in love with her. But I think if he truly dug deep and realized that being a parent is something that, if you really, really want that in your life, if you go through the rest of your life without that, I think that is going to down the road be a huge regret for him.
This reminds me of a classic scene from the sitcom The Office when Michael Scott makes that very concession to Jan, woman that he's dating.
I said that I wanted to have kids, and you said that you wanted me to have a vasectomy. What did I do? And then when you said that you might want to have kids, and I wasn't so sure, who had the vasectomy reversed? And then when you said you definitely didn't want to have kids, who had it reversed back? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. I did. You have no idea the physical toll the 3 vasectomies have on a person.
Oh, gosh. Let's not make him do that.
Right. All right. So this is where we want your experience with this. Maybe you're in a relationship where this is working for you, or you experience this very same thing earlier in your life, and you can provide some insight. Let us know. 502-571-9970. With group therapy, when one wants kids and the other does not, can the relationship survive? That's kind of our group therapy, what we've been talking about here on 99.7 DJX, where she doesn't want kids. And even though her boyfriend is on board, she's not really thinking he's genuine in his, I guess, agreement to not have kids in order to be with him.
She's worried down the line he's going to, have resentments. He's going to have regrets and resent her.
Now, Kelsey tweets, no matter what, that will eventually come to a head and lead to issues and resentment. And my husband and I had this discussion before our wedding, and if we weren't on the same page, I would have walked because it isn't fair to either of you.
Yeah. It's not a compromise I think either one should make. Jennifer said that's probably a deal breaker in almost any relationship. If one of you's adamant against having kids and the other really wants them, probably not going to work. This also applies to parenting. If and when you do have kids, if one of you is a pushover and the other has to do all the heavy lifting, that breeds resentment as well.
Yeah.
It blows my mind how many people don't talk about the deal breakers in a serious relationship and just hope that their partner's going to change down the road.
Yeah. I mean, these are some of those, maybe they're uncomfortable conversations, but they're conversations nonetheless that I think every relationship should have, especially, and we talk about all the time, like taking those masks off, showing who you really are before, a big commitment in a relationship, just so you really know the person that you're with.
Lakeisha said, now, when I was younger, I did not want kids. Now, I would steal one from the grocery store. He's not giving up on you because you may change your mind.
Yeah, we got another text from a woman who admitted that she did not want kids, and her soon-to-be husband does. And she said, we had a conversation and did decide to have children in the future because I love him and I want him happy, and him being happy makes me happy. I want a life with him. Relationships are give and take. And if he's willing to give then I would believe him. It's his choice. It's not fair to take his choice away by breaking up. For that reason alone, it can work. So,
wow, that is one way to look at it. You know what? I was not one of those people that knew I was destined to be a parent.
Right.
I just didn't really think about it.
Right.
It was only until I found my person, which was later in life, and we honestly hadn't really discussed it. I'm really glad that we landed on, yes, we both want kids. I think I was waiting until I found the right person. I knew that I probably wasn't going to move heaven and earth to become a single parent if I didn't find a partner. And so then that made me question, okay, well then should I not be a parent because I wasn't, so dead set on it. So I kind of went through some of that. But now, of course, after, seeing my first baby's face for the very first time, you fall instantly in love, and I couldn't imagine not having them. So, there is something to be said that maybe, depending on where she is in her life, if she's older, she may already know that that's kind of not in the cards for her. But if she's younger, you can that can change, I think, once you find your person. It's tough to say. It's an individual thing.
It's interesting. Like a lot of stories are coming in from people who were in the same predicament of, one wanted kids, one did not. And then they ended up having kids. Yeah. So I don't know if this has to be. There have been plenty of people who've been like, you know what? He's staying with you because maybe he thinks you'll change your mind.
Yeah. Which, could be. And maybe you give it a little bit more time to see if that's going to happen. So, maybe if, she sees the way that he is with kids and then could imagine it. But I don't know. There are absolutely people that are not wired to be parents at all. And if they know that about themselves, then maybe that's, she's really going to be the only person that can figure that out about herself. Yeah. And then really understand, all right, is this something that you are going to be okay with feeling like you're letting him miss out on if you know deep down that he desperately does want that as a part of his life.
All right, so what are we telling her?
I feel like give it a little bit more time.
Yeah.
To try to figure out, A, is she ever going to change her mind about it? And then B, is he going to figure out that he's fine with, having a life with that not being a part of it? Now, Jennifer said, is the woman opposed to physically having kids or being a parent? If it's the former, they can adopt or foster. Or the boyfriend can volunteer as a big brother or volunteer with CASA to affect change in a child's life.
Yeah.
Which is a really good suggestion as well. Yeah. I feel like she's opposing, being a parent in general.
Man, very, very personal decisions here. And obviously one that, if I think a lot of people have also said, and I agree with, relationships are about, give and take.
But that's a very big thing to give up for one person. Especially it's a life experience that if someone really knows they absolutely want that a part of their life, they're going to have to make a tough call that, do I want to spend my life with this person and not have that big life experience?
All right. Well, I'm going to defer to Kelly and say, yes, let's give it a little bit more time. Let him be, take him at his word and just go from there.
Yeah, see how it plays out a little bit.
All right. Keep us posted.